everyone! Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sabine Klaus-Carter, creator of Calvin's Free From Foods, and today I'm talking with our nutritionist Cara Redpath about superfoods, or as she calls them, Wonderfoods. So Cara will be joining us any second, and then I just link her in and we can start talking. She will talk of her top 5 superfoods, but not just which ones they are, but how to prepare them as well. And that will be really interesting because if you have a super high nutrient food, you don't want to kill everything by cooking it to death. So Cara will also explain us how to do it right. And there she is. Hello, hello, hello. By the magic of the internet, I managed to turn around my camera. Hang on. I'm actually not but I need to, there's actually not an option to turn my camera back. There we go.
Oh,
Hi! I don't know, I actually pressed down there, but it was up left to turn the camera back. Oh, technology. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, well, lovely to see you. Yes, I already sort of gave a little bit of spoilers in the introduction about the superfoods and, as you call them, Wonderfoods. Do you want to tell us how wonderfully foods you like best, and also how to wonderfully prepare them?
Yeah. So Sabine asked me before how you define a superfood, and I said branding. You get kale a good publicist, and all of a sudden it becomes a superfood. So I like to talk about Wonderfood. And for me, the definition of a superfood is, well, the traditional definition of a superfood, and so my Wonderfoods, is the most nutrients per bite. So if you're looking at white bread and chips as kind of your standard definition, then however many more nutrients you're going to get through eating a certain food as opposed to just eating a bland beige diet. So with that in mind, I have created a list of my top 5 Wonderfoods.
Oh, tell me.
First and topmost for me always will be tomato puree. The reason being, it's as cheap as chips. It is wonderfully healthy for you. It contains the highest natural source of lycopene.
Oh,
and lycopene's an antioxidant that's highly anti-inflammatory. It's known as the eye antioxidant. So it's really supportive of eye health, but it's also incredibly supportive of cardiogenic health. So what's going on with your cardiovascular system? It's beautifully helpful for lowering blood pressure, and there's been new studies to show that it's really beneficial for sun protection, not as opposed to wearing sunscreen. Yeah, but just as building up its skin's natural resistance to the sun. So they recommend taking 2 tablespoons, which is 40 grams of tomato puree, into your diet every day to help your skin resist the sun naturally while still wearing sunscreen.
And you can quite easily do it because a bit of tomato sauce tastes fantastic too. I would say most foods, maybe not chocolate, but
maybe not chocolate, but you do get tomato chocolate now. But you can, I think tomato puree, why it's my top Wonderfood, is that you can add it to literally anything. You can add it to stir fries, to hot quinoa salads, to stews, to soups, to curries. You know, it just goes with everything, and I love it, and I'm never without it.
Yeah, we just I sort of reheated up food from the day before yesterday, and I just added tomato sauce just to make it look different to the rest of the family.
Exactly. And obviously the obvious one is putting it on top of the pizza. But I think especially with vegan cuisine and allergy cuisine, it's really important to have tomato puree because most people are okay with it, and it adds a lot of flavor, and it packs a nutritional punch. So we love it.
Yes.
Secondly, my second Wonderfood, specifically for women, is broccoli. Good old 91p broccoli is just fabulous. It's full of protein, it's full of fiber, It contains a multitude of antioxidants, which I'm not going to go into, but one of my favorite ones, which is lesser known, is camphorol. And camphorol is a highly anti-inflammatory antioxidant, again, good for the cardiovascular system. But alongside that, broccoli contains vitamins A, C, D, and K.
Wow.
So it contains a really wide range of antioxidants, but most people wouldn't think of broccoli containing vitamin C. So I love that.
And how do you prepare broccoli not to, you know, to...
Yeah, so broccoli is actually best lightly steamed. Does well being cooked. But you don't want to overcook it, and it doesn't want to look yellow or mushy. So water cooking a bit of broccoli is great. Oh, I'm waving to my friend there who's just hi Fraser. So yeah, broccoli is amazing, just lightly steamed, and best not overcooked. And then my third superfood is garlic. And garlic is just fantastic. We don't give garlic enough credit. Again, it's super cheap. It contains a compound called alicillin, which is antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, which is rare. Usually compounds are antibacterial or antiviral and rarely antifungal, but this is a broad spectrum kind of killer of all things pathogenic. So it's beautiful to include into your food. Again, with the tomato puree, you can add it into anything. It can go into soups, it can go into stews, it can go into curries. And it's highly anti-inflammatory as well. So it calms down that inflammation and gets rid of the pathogens. So for right about now, we should all be including a wee bit more garlic in our diet. Yeah. And especially if you live in Scotland, because it's also anti-midgie. So if you're smelling of garlic, the midges don't want to eat you so much. So
and you can't cook it out. Like, even if you're sort of
you can't cook garlic out. Obviously, the best way to eat garlic actually is raw, but I mean, it's not very social. So cooking it is fine. Yeah, for the bravest, it repeats on you. But yeah, continuing just to have it in your diet every day, you'll still get a therapeutic dose of it. It's fine. It doesn't have to be kind of purist. And fourthly, I would say pomegranate is a wonder food. Again, pomegranate I like to think of as the heart food. The antioxidants contained in it are very cardiogenic, supportive, and very good at lowering blood pressure. There's been lots of studies to show that pomegranate juice lowers your blood pressure naturally, which is beautiful. But it just contains such a vast array of polyphenols that it can only be good for you. And it's got a beautiful color, it's got a beautiful taste, and the reason I love it so much, for the amount of nutrients in it, you can put it on anything. I actually sprinkle my pomegranate with a bit of yogurt on top of soups. I know that's a bit bougie maybe, but I love doing that. And it's also really good on top of salads, it's good on top of porridge, and as a heart protective, as a prophylactic for your cardiovascular health, it is good to have it every day. And modern world has made it so that you can just buy it in tubs.
It's so easy, but I love just buying it fresh, and I love it like as a sort of TV snack, because it's sort of like the healthy feel-good popcorn, and you still you need a good cloth around it because it stains like super.
It does.
But and plus you look like you were the murderer afterwards, but it is such a nice food just to eat along whilst watching a really exciting movie. I just think it's the perfect superfood, and it does have itself a wee publicist, but it doesn't mean that it's any less great. And it's just so varied. And then finally, and this one is again one that people don't usually think of, it's parsley. So parsley is incredibly high in vitamin C. Interestingly, all the foods we're taught are high in vitamin C are actually a bit in the vitamin C content, and the ones that we don't think of, like your bell pepper and your broccoli and parsley, are just singing from the rooftops of vitamin. And so for me, especially at the moment, more vitamin C. Vitamin C is an antioxidant.
That's the most important thing about it. And it recycles other antioxidants such as glutathione in the body to help with methylation and other cycles. I know I'm saying a lot of big words all of a sudden, but the body runs on its antioxidant cycles and its methylation pathway. So when you can put antioxidants into the body that recycle other antioxidants, it's a great thing. And so having more vitamin C in your diet is great. And the other thing with parsley is A, it tastes really nice, but B, it also has detoxifying quality. There's certain polyphenols and antioxidants in it that help hormones and specifically plastics, particularly BPA, move through the liver. Yeah, so move through the liver safely as well. So from that point of view, living in a city as I do, it's important to constantly be detoxifying your body, just like gently. You don't want to push anything through, and so having a little bit of parsley is a good thing.
And does it matter fresh, frozen, dried?
Yeah, it has to be fresh with parsley. It has to be fresh, and I wouldn't recommend the dried stuff. I guess frozen would be okay, but it's not going to pack the same punch as fresh garden-grown parsley. And you can grow it on your windowsill. It grows great.
Yeah, or just like even pick up the fresh, in the little pots, and they last forever. It says like, it goes out of date in a couple of days. I think I have one downstairs which is at least 3 months old and has become part of the family.
Yeah. So it's super easy and it grows well in Scottish gardens as well. So those would be my top 5 current summer ones of the moment. It changes with the seasons, but those are the ones I'm obsessed with right now.
I love all of those because they are so easy to incorporate. You get them in any supermarket, and they're also inexpensive because that is it always feels like having a healthy life needs to be expensive, but these ones are very everyday, run-of-the-mill items that anybody should be able to get a hands on. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I hope that helps everybody, and it just shows how easy it is to get these foods into your diet. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to know about methylation to eat a tiny bit of parsley now and again. It's just making positive steps towards your health that are achievable. And the way I look at health and the way I look at including these Wonderfoods is it's like an act of radical self-love, because by going and pairing these foods and consciously adding them into your diet, it's like you're doing this for you and for your future health. So radical self-love.
I think that is absolutely perfect. I think especially if people suffer from eczema or allergies, it actually, the body shows you are literally self-harming yourself if you are eating the wrong things, because it makes you feel unwell. It hurts you. And I think that is just taking the right steps, as you say, to get to the vibrant health and just to get to our optimal health. And it's also something you can incorporate. The family will never know, the children will never know if they get tomato puree with parsley. Exactly.
So just a tiny bit of tomato puree is like your self-love check for the day. So it doesn't have to be hard.
Wow. So shall we end on this? We wish everyone to do a little bit of self-love check and a bit of self-love and take care. And we see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining us and watching.
See you later.
Thank you, Cara. See you later. And I do the magic.